y'all, Bridget Bartlett here with Vision Marketing and Design, and today we are live inside of our team training where we are live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So today what I'm going to show you how to do is create a website using HighLevel. Now, the reason that I'm not showing you HighLevel right now is because we need to do a little bit of research on our niche to figure out how are the other websites, how are they positioning the different offers? Also, what does the design look like? I promise you, you'll notice a lot of similarities between each of the websites within your niche, and that will give you a place to start. Of course, we don't want to copy someone's website, but we also don't want to just rely on our own brain to just come up with it as we're building, okay? You want to be thoughtful about the process of your website because a good website will actually work for you like an employee that works 24 hours a day. That's what we want to do. It's not about just simply having a placeholder for your business. We want to actually have it work for us and represent our business in the best way possible. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose churches as our niche, and we're going to build a church website. Now, I'm not going to go through all the nuts and bolts of building a website, but I'm definitely going to show you enough to help you get started because I have lots of training on website building, but this will definitely give you a good place to start. Okay, so I do want to say hello to Ray, who's joining on YouTube. Hello, Ray. Also, if you will notice, churches are definitely a great niche to go after if you're an agency or a web designer, because oftentimes they don't really have great websites, okay? And you're going to see that when we do our research. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in Christian church, okay? Because that's my niche that I'm looking for. And I actually put in, it defaulted to note most popular. Now I can look for Christian churches in my area, and I'm actually going to do that first just to show you here. If we go Christian church, you'll see what shows up around me. Now, if I click this website, you'll see, for one, this church doesn't even have a website. The next one here, if we click on that, you'll see it's really outdated and pretty generic, okay? So, I mean, think about your initial impression when you see this website. It looks like it was created in 1985. So this would definitely be a website that maybe needs a redesign. Okay, so again, if you're an agency or something like that, this would be a great church to contact. Let's check this one here. And this is actually a pretty decent website. Initially, I love how it looks. I love that it's just very clean. And as you scroll down here, I almost chose this website as an example, actually, because it's very clean. It's not too busy. It pretty much gets to the point. And you'll see here that really we just have a bunch of buttons. This is probably like a blog. We have more buttons here. You have the footer with the logo and the address and the social media links, and that's standard. You have all of these. It looks like they're videos though, but they're not clickable. So that's kind of weird. If I click here, and this is another thing, you definitely want to be clicking around. See all of the ways that they've positioned this info, because if you are a church or you are an agency who wants to focus on churches, you'll see that they have an about page, right? And Google loves about pages. So you definitely want to have one of those. You have the home page, of course, right? Most churches have small groups. This one has a recovery church, partners, resources, sermons, like replays, blog articles, and then they always have a place to donate. Okay, now later in the week, I'm going to show you how to use Stripe to create a donate link. Stripe is what we use inside of HighLevel. So it's really easy to just create that donate link and then add to your button here. You can embed it in a page. Lots of things that you can do. Okay, so now if I put most popular, now it's going to show me, so I kind of looked at all the local churches, right, which would be a great way of getting new clients. But if I want to see the best websites, they're probably going to be the most popular churches, okay? Now, these are really just famous churches that are beautiful, right? So maybe I want to find, where is an article, most popular churches in America. Let's see where the list is. I know I just had one that I was looking at. To most famous, most popular. Let's see. Best churches. Okay, so this is another way that you could do a little bit of research. I found a really great article, and of course now I should have bookmarked it because now I can't find it. Let's do Christian churches most popular, and let's just say United States. Okay, now usually they're like blog articles and things like that. But what's cool about the blog articles is they will link out to um, the the church, right? So like this one shows the Potter's house. Let's just go ahead and I guess I don't see a link out to it, but let's just go ahead and Google it. So we have the Potter's house. And again, this is just part of the process, right? You want to do your research and make sure that your website is comparable to the other websites. We can create almost anything within the HighLevel website builder. You just have to know what you want it to look like and the goal that you're going for. Now, this is cool because this is just a typical pop-up, right? So we're just going to click to close that. We have a rotation banner here, which is really popular on all websites. We have our menu here. We have, another menu at the top. We have our logo in the top left-hand corner, and you'll see that it's stretched out wide across the whole website. And then we have in the middle here, info about the bishop, and we have some more info down here. We have the blog, we have the latest message. That's really standard for church websites. And then, of course, we have basically like this menu here. For example, if we click there, it goes off into another page and it talks about that thing specifically where people can register. Okay. You'll also see on the right-hand side, they have the social media links, download the app on the Google Play at the App Store. And then, of course, we have our footer down here, okay? And then there is a place where people can sign up for our list. Now, honestly, I don't know why this is so dark here. It should be, the text, it should be a lot lighter. But these are things that we want to look at and think, do we like that? Do we not like that? And then when you've done the research and you've chosen a style that you like, it doesn't necessarily have to be the church that you like the best, but the style, then you have a place to start. Now, I chose this one. This is actually a local church to me, but what I liked about this is it's very, very simple, okay? We have our rotation banner. Now, full transparency, we don't yet have the slider element inside of HighLevel, but it is coming. And then that will make this process much easier where you have the multiple images like you can see on the examples we showed, and then you can select to move over, right? And you see the option here where you can slide. For now, though, all you need to do is go to Canva, create a GIF where these slide maybe every 5 seconds, and then you can add that to the panel, okay? So it's really not that complicated. And then, of course, we have this section down here, and then we have Get Connected, I'm new, next steps, and then care. So that's a great, simple calls to action. And then, of course, again, in the footer, we have the website. If you click here, you actually get Google Map directions to the church. So that's a good idea. And then, of course, who owns it, social media, the give option here. And then as you scroll through, you'll see how they've positioned each of the pages. Okay. Now, if you're a brand new church, or if your client is a brand new church, you don't really necessarily have to have all of these pages, because really to hire an agency to create all of this, it would be a lot, right? And maybe new churches, if they don't have a website, they're not really going to have a large budget to invest in their website. But what we want to do as the agency, we want to give them an online presence so they can start building up their church within their community and start getting noticed and building up donations. And then as the website's working for them, they will see the value in investing into the additional pages, okay? But the main goal is we want a welcome page here. We want to talk about who we serve, right? And this would be like the about page. Then we have the different ministries, and then resources and the watch live, and the if you have a local church or, an international church, you need to be on YouTube. And again, we're going to talk about that this week. But your church needs to be on YouTube so that people can see the sermons. That's how they're going to connect with your church, whether it's internationally or it's locally. That's also going to help you drive traffic to your website where people can donate if they like your message. And if you're driving traffic to the website, chances are they want to see the other sermons sermons that you have. So having a place where you can add all of those sermons is going to be a great addition to your website, right? And then of course you have this option here. We have a little button. So this is really just a menu. We have this cover. We have 2 boxes here in this section. We have another section with 3 boxes and then our footer, okay? So let's go now into the website builder. So I am now inside of the HighLevel account. If you don't have HighLevel yet, you can go to bridgetbartlett.com. We do have options to join our program for current or new HighLevel members. So what we want to do is go into sites and we want to go to new website. Okay. Now I can choose from any of the templates here if I wanted to, but I'm actually going to show you just how to create it from scratch. And if I type in, I don't think there's one specifically for churches. Let's see. Church. No. Maybe nonprofits or something like that. So if you're just completely stuck, there is a way that you can use one of these templates, okay? But I like to do things from scratch. So I'm going to do church. Oops. Oops. Okay. And create website. So now I am creating my website from scratch, okay? And you will see I've created my website. Now I just need to add a page, okay? So I'm going to call this page home. And I'm going to do /home because that's going to be the URL. So if my website is thechristianvision.com, this is going to be thechristianvision.com/home. Okay. Also, if you didn't know, if you do have a website that you want to import from ClickFunnels, you just type it, paste in the URL here, and it will actually import that for you. So I'm going to go ahead and click Create New Page. And now we have our home page. I'm going to click here, and I can use a website I already have created. So if I'm using a funnel and I want to copy that funnel, I could choose that here. You can choose the specific funnel and even the funnel step, or you can even copy another website. So if I wanted to copy this one here, like that page specifically, I could choose that option. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to create from blank. So let's click there. Hello, Maria. How are you? Okay, so the very first thing I want to do is I need to add a row here. Okay, so I'm going to choose the row that I want. I usually just use the full width, so I'm going to go ahead and just drag that here. Okay, now if you imagine rows are basically like the wall that you put your pictures on. So the pictures would be in columns and elements. Okay, so now we have our row here, and what I like to do is really just duplicate this 3 times. Okay, because this is going to be my header, this is going to be my footer, and then this is going to be the first row of my website. All right, so the very first thing I want to do is add a row. Now, if we look at our sample website, scroll up here, this is really just one row. Okay, so we have one row and it has our logo and then our menu and then like another little menu here. Okay, or it could even be buttons. So going back here, we want to just add one column. Okay, and then I'm going to add the element and I'm going to scroll down here until we see the navigation menu. Okay. So now we have our menu there. We can also now do the footer. So I'm going to add the one column here. But if we look down at our footer, it actually has maybe 2 columns. Okay. So let's actually just delete this and we will create 2. We'll choose 2 columns. All right. So here we just have like some text, and then basically we have like a title, and then we have like a subtitle, and then we have some paragraph text. Okay. And it looks like there's, so let's go ahead. We'll just add this here. Let's just add headline, and then let's choose subheadline, and then let's choose some paragraph text. And remember, we're just getting the skeleton right now, right? We're not really focused on design and any of that stuff, okay? So we have the subheadline, and then we have the paragraph text, and then we have another subheadline, and then the paragraph text, okay? And then more paragraph text for the email, okay? So let's just go ahead and let's duplicate this. And let's duplicate this. And let's go ahead and let's just duplicate this again. Okay, so I am going to copy this just as like a placeholder so that I know what I'm doing here. And we can copy this just to give me an idea. And as you'll notice, I'm not even focused on any of the styling or anything. I really just want to give myself an idea. And then what's really cool is you can save this as global. Okay, so I'm just going to say here. And then, of course, let's go back here. We have location and paste. And we have the address here. And let's just actually type in address, phone, email. Okay. So that's just going to be my placeholder. I'm actually just going to delete this. Okay. Um, church name. Okay. If we want this to be over to the left, we could align this to the left. All right. So let's say that we have designed our footer and it looks beautiful. And you can see I'm just moving things around just to make it look pretty. We have the give button over here. We have 3 little social media elements. Now we have our give button. And we could add like a section here. Let's see the rows. We could add this. No, we don't want that. Okay, so we could definitely play around with that. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and save because I don't want to, I could do, and I do have a full series that's like 10 videos if you guys really want in-depth training. But I just want to show you kind of how to research and how to get started building the website, okay? Now you'll see when you save, it says SEO metadata. This is the data that's going to show up on this page when you share the image, okay? Or when it's being searched for through Google, okay? So this page is going to be our church, okay? Because this is, it's really generic, but it's going to be the title of that page, right? And then you could say, this is about our church. Okay, of course you want to spell right. I'm a horrible speller and typer here. You can add some keywords. So let's just say Christian church. And you can add an author, which Google doesn't really use this anymore, but we'll just say Bridget Bartlett. And you can also add your share image, okay? And it'll show you down here, what it's going to look like, right? So this page in the Google search is going to say our church. And then we want our image. So let's just say we're going to use this image here. And then now when we share it, it'll preview and show you this is what it looks like. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and update that and save. Now, something else that you want to look at is in the settings. First of all, if you want to access that metadata, you can do that here, and you'll see that it just pops out like that. Also, if you want to add any tracking codes, like if you have some type of if you're adding Google AdSense or you're adding, something that needs to be in the header, you can paste that here. If something needs to be in the footer, you can paste that here. Now, this is for this specific page. If you want to add code to the entire website, you want to do that in the settings. So let me go back here and show you that. You want to go to the settings here and you'll see the head tracking code and then the body tracking code here. Okay, so let's now go back into our page. And you will see here that inside the menu, what we can do is add our, if you scroll down, make sure that you've selected that so that you can start editing the menu. But you'll see we have these options here. You can choose to have your logo here or not. Let me scroll down again. And then you can also optimize the image load there. You can choose the size and all of that. Right now, the brand logo is this link here, and that is this image where it says put your image. But what we want to do is put our logo there. Okay, so our logo's white and it's actually, it kind of looks funky there. You can choose your, if you want any actions, which usually it will go to your home page. Okay, so the logo should always go back to your home page. If you don't want this title there, you can just delete it. I don't typically have that there. But you'll see here if we scroll up, some of the logos were over here. Okay, now this here is just like this. Okay, so if we preview, you'll see that our logo is, all of the information is in the center here. Okay, but if we wanted it to expand through the whole website here, what would it do is click on this section and you'll see allow rows to take the entire width. So if we click here, you'll see it moves out, and then we can go back and refresh this page, and you'll see now our logo and our menu has moved out to all sides. Okay, so it's really your choice, whatever style you're looking for. You can also see that this logo really looks kind of funky. So what we want to do is we can actually upload another one. We can choose, play around with this a little bit. You can make this maybe the height. Maybe you want to make it 75. Maybe you want to make it 50. Let's take it back to, oh, that's the width. So the height, maybe 75. Okay, so that looks much, much better. And with our with our menu here, if we scroll up, you'll see here is our menu. So we can change this now to be, well, let's keep that the about. And then here we could say missions. Okay, but you can see here, as you're adding and editing your menu, the title, which is what's going to be in the menu here, that's what you want to put here. You also want to choose the action. Is it going to another page in your website or an outside URL? Typically, you want it to go to another page in your website. We only have one page though, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep this there. And then if you are going to an outside website page, you just want to paste that here. Now, you want to choose also if it's going to open up in a new tab or not. Now, I will say about this, if you are staying within the same domain, you definitely want to toggle this off, okay? Meaning if they're not leaving your website, go ahead and keep this off, okay? Because a lot of times if they're on your page and they click on a website link that is outside of the website, sometimes they get a warning, sometimes they get like a little pop-up thing that says, or it prevents the page from opening. There's lots of reasons for that, but if you want to prevent that, you can just choose to not open in a new tab, okay? Now, you'll see here that missions is not showing in the menu until you hover over about. And that's because the missions is actually a page within this menu, okay? But if we move this out, you'll see now mission shows up here. Okay, so that's how you get that effect where, for example, here in the welcome menu, you'll see I'm new. That is basically what we're doing here. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Now, here is how you want to do the menu. All right, now let me save this. I know that I'm speeding through this really fast, but like I said, I have lots of detailed training on all of this. I just mainly want to make sure that you have a place to start and that you have a good starting point, okay? So once you get your menu, you've designed it, you've made it beautiful, however you want. Let me go ahead and change the background color here. We'll just change it to black. Now you can see you want to click on the menu and you have your background color here. You can make it transparent if you want to. Then you'll have to change the color of the text. So then you want to come down here and just change the color. Now you've done that, right? So lots of customizations that you can make for that menu there. If you want less space on the top, you just remove the padding. Now remember the way that the website builder is, and this does take a while to get used to, but the padding, when you adjust the padding, it's going to add space inside of the element that you're adding the padding to, okay? If you want to add space in between each of the elements, meaning like the navigation menu and the first column here, then what you want to do is add margin. Okay, so you can see as I add the margin there, it adds space at the top. If I add padding, that's what it looks like there. So it's dividing the two different elements. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now, Let me make this black just to make it, or I'll make it just gray, okay, just so that we can see the difference here. So once you get your header and your footer exactly how you want it to be, what you want to do is save this, and you want to save it as a global section, okay? Now, the reason you want to save it as global is because you can then add this same section here to any page within that website, and then you only have to update it one time, okay? Now, what's really cool about HighLevel as opposed to some other website builders is you can make any of these sections global. Okay, so if you want to add your footer and make that global, or maybe you have a middle section that you want to put on like every page where they register to get added to your email list, then you can make that a global section as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this a global section, and I like to just call this header. And now I'm going to save this as global, and I'm going to call this footer. And save. Now you can see when you save to global, it actually changes to purple. And you'll see that it says global. Okay, so this is kind of squished in, but it does say global header. And then we have global footer because that's what we called it. Okay. So here now, what I want to do is I don't want to add my first row. So let's look at this. Now we could, of course, we could make this transparent and then add that GIF, you know, to our background image, which I definitely want to keep going through this menu with you guys. If you want to add custom CSS, if you're familiar with that, you can do that there. The background image, this is what is going to show on the whole page there. So if we go to social media covers, let's just say this, you'll see that now I have this background image and it's on the whole background. If I change this to transparent now, you'll see that I have that image there, right? So it kind of gives you the same effect where the menu, there's nothing behind it. It's just kind of that continued image, okay? So that's how you get that effect there. Now, in this section here, let's go ahead, let's see how, so really this is just one big image, okay? So we could add some text if we want to. We could add that slider image. What a lot of websites will do is maybe add 2 columns here, you know, however you want to position that, right? So we could add, let's see, or let's just maybe do 1. And let's say, join our mission. And then maybe you want a button. Okay, so let's make this bigger. We want to change the color here. So let's just say we want it to be, oops, if it's bold, we need to change this color here. We can make this much larger if we want to. If the background kind of looks like that, where it's hard to see, you see how it's white, we have some options. We could add inside the text here, you want to click there. We could add a shadow. So you have that, kind of shows just a little bit better. If that's not the style that you're looking for, we could also add some opacity down here to the image. Let's go to advanced. So we have, oh, I thought we could add the opacity here. Let's change this. Oh, I think that's only if we have the image there. Okay. So let's change this to black, but maybe we don't want it to be that black. So you can actually add colors down here. So I'm just going to choose, we have this black, and then we can make this just a little bit more, a little darker. Let's go ahead and add that color. So you can see how you can kind of play around with that there. And if you want this to be that as well, you can click here and then choose that. And now we've continued with that same style, right? So let's go ahead now and save. And then you can see we're already starting to get very quickly a really cool website, right? Now, with the buttons, of course, you have lots of styles and things that you can do with the buttons. We would want to change this to donate, maybe. We could have it open a pop-up, open another website URL. We could have it hide elements, scroll to an element, go to another page. if we're choosing donate, you know, if we've embedded our Stripe link into another page or we're using something else, you could do that there. As far as the styles, you can always go to themes and you can have like something, you know, a standard theme if you don't want to play around with it. If you want something really custom, you could choose any of these options here. So you can choose whether you want upper, lowercase, or capitalized. So if I chose this, I think I typed them all in capital. Let's say that I did, let's go back to general. And let's say that I typed it in like you normally would, like donate. And then you go back to advanced. And then you choose capitalize, or you could choose lowercase, or you can choose uppercase, or we can go back to capitalize where it just capitalizes that one word, okay? Of course, you can choose fluid or full width. If you choose full width, it's going to spread out as wide as the element is. Okay, so that looks kind of funky, so we don't want to do that. You can choose button effect. So if you want it to kind of rock, you can see it kind of rocking there a little bit. You can have it bounce like that. That's definitely a great way to kind of draw attention to your call to action. And then you can, of course, choose the elevate where when you hover over it, it hops up like that. You also have any of these options here to add shadow and all of that. So you can definitely customize this however, whatever style you're looking for. Now, if you click on the button and you go back to general, you'll see here that we have letter spacing. Okay, so if you want to spread that out there, you want to add some shadow to the text to make it show up a little better. I like to do that. You also have the mobile size, the desktop size. You also have the subtext. So if my button said click here, you'll see now it has subtext, and I can adjust the sizing here on desktop and mobile. Let's go ahead and, of course, you can change the color of the text there. You can also adjust the padding. So if you don't like that much space on the top, you could actually just shrink this down a little bit. You'll see that it kind of, it starts eliminating that space. And we could do the same thing at the bottom. Just change it to like 5. And now we have that option there, or that look and style. You can also add a border here. So you can do like just a border on the bottom. You can do a full border if you want to. You can add the border width here, and then you can change the color of the border. So if you want it to look like that, if you click out of it, you'll see now it has like a black border there to make it more obvious. On my buttons, what I like to do is choose like the color of the border or the color of the button, but just a little shade off. Like you can see when I click out of that, the outside border is just a little bit lighter than the inside of the button. Okay, so it adds a little bit of dimension without completely changing what the button looks like. Okay, so that's most of the things about the button I think I get a lot of questions about. Let's go ahead and let's add another section here like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new full width panel here. And you can see every time you add it in, this is transparent. So you may want to now change the background. So I'm going to choose this. And let's make it another color. I'll just choose gray. If I didn't want that, I could just select any color or add my hex code. Let's just choose like a really light gray here. We'll add that color. Now we have this. I want to add 2 columns because that's the look we're going for, right? Now, with this background, you'll see it's kind of like a lighter color here with the triangles. It's basically like 2 triangles, and then one of them is lighter than the other one. You could easily create that on Canva. So if I went to Canva and I just want to do like a custom size, let's just say 500 by 500. And let's go to elements here and let's choose triangle. So now we have this triangle. Let's go look. And so we're going to rotate this around. Let's do this. So you could definitely play around with this. Like, again, I really could spend all day doing this stuff with you guys. I just, I don't want to make this a really, really long video because like I said, I have lots of them, but you get the point here, right? You can just play around with this, get the exact look that you want, you know, flip that triangle around. Once you get this image, what you can do is, let's go back here now. You can add that image. Actually, let's let's just quickly do this so that I can show you the example that I'm referring to. So I'm just going to rotate this a little. And now we have this. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to make this color here like a lighter color. Oops, not that. Okay, we'll just make it darker. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to download the image. Download. And when you are using your images, here's the trick, okay? If you're using PNG, that's going to be a better quality, but it's also going to be a larger file. And we want to make sure that all the images that we're using on our website are the smallest size possible, usually 100 gigabytes or kilobytes, KB, on your images. You want it to be less than that. But sometimes you need to use the PNG because you need the transparent background. Okay, so if you're using PNG, just keep that in mind, and then you want to make sure to choose that transparent background. But since we're not doing that, and then of course you can compress for the lower file or the lower size. If you're not doing that, you could also use JPEG, and then you could even, reduce the quality a little bit to reduce the size. Now, something else that you could do is let's see, what is it called? Shrink, reduce image size, because I can't remember the name. TinyPNG. Okay, so this is a free website that you can use when you download that image. Let me click here. So we have, let's see, panel. Let's just call it panel. Okay, so now we have this image. If I go into the folder that it's at, you'll see if you hover over it, it says that is 7.2 KB. Okay, and that's a really small size, so that's great. But if it was too big, what we could do is still drag it in here, and then you'll see that TinyPNG has reduced it half the size, okay? So that's an option as well if you're struggling with those large images, okay? Now, what I want to do is I'm going to go back here now, and I want to click here to add an element, and I want to add an image. I could do that, or what I could do is click here inside of this purple box, and I can actually add my image here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to upload this image, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so as I add text and things to this, it will get bigger here. So let me just copy this just to save time, and let's go back here to this. I'm just going to paste, and we will make this white. Oops, it's bold, so I forgot I need to change this. And we can add this here. Let's just duplicate. I'll close that out because I keep clicking on it. Let's just duplicate this, and here we go. If you do, just side note, if you do hold down Control and then click Shift and V, you can paste and it doesn't change the format there. If you're using Windows. And you'll see here is like a round button. So what we want to do is we can add that round button here. And we can make the button transparent, because you can see it's actually not transparent, but it has that little like hover effect over it. So it's kind of like it's a little bit like they're making it not obvious, right? So what we could do is, instead of green, which I really hate that color, you could click here and then kind of make it transparent. You could go back here and you could add a border to it. So let's say full width border. And if you want it to be obviously a different color, you could make that maybe you could make it transparent if you want to, but that would eliminate the border. Maybe you want to make it one of the colors that we have. Let's just make it this color here so that we can see it for the purpose of this training. Maybe we want to add, like, make it 3. You can change the radius here and make it round, so you can play around with that. You can see as we add that there, it gets more and more round, kind of like the effect that the other website had. So let's say that we love this. Maybe we want to reduce the spacing there or the padding. So we could add that, reduce the padding at the top a little bit and at the bottom. Okay, so now you can see we're getting closer here. Now, you'll see in this example, there's a lot of space at the top and a lot of space at the bottom. So what we can do is that's where the margin comes in. Now, if we add padding at the top here, you'll see that inside the orange element, we have padding at the top here. But what we want to do is actually add padding or margin to stretch that out a little bit. So let's just say 50 here, and then 50. You can also type this in. And then let's add 50 to the bottom here. Okay. So you can see very quickly we're coming along here. Okay. Now, I do see that this image is grainy. It's not really what I was going for. So you could definitely play around with that if you want to. If you really want a quick hack, you could even create this image here on Canva and then just make it clickable. Okay, so so that's a little hack to help you there. All right, we could also, let's just add more space here, and let's add more space here. And it's starting to get kind of how we want it to. All right. Now, once you get this set, or anything set like you want it, okay, utilize these duplication features, okay, because duplication is absolutely the best way to speed up this process. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to click here to duplicate, and then I'm going to eliminate that there. All right, so now you see we have these two different boxes, and of course, let's go change this image. All right, so definitely play around with that. Now, of course, like I said, I'm speeding through all of this, okay? But let's see how long I've kept you. Okay, it's already 2:41. Very quickly. Let's go to the mobile view so that I can help you kind of understand the mobile. You can see that this is pretty much done, right? I mean, the mobile is so easy, but I do get a lot of questions about the mobile view, okay? So if I want to change the title here on mobile, what I want to do is click on it, of course, and then I want to scroll down to where you see mobile font size. Now you can see that I can adjust this here. And when I do that, it does not change the desktop, okay? It doesn't change anything. You'll see if I scroll down here, I want to make this smaller maybe. I want to make this smaller. Maybe I want to add some space at the bottom here. Maybe I want to change this and just adjust the sizes. Of course, you want to make sure that all of your titles and all of that, you're using the same size. But like I said, I'm just trying to speed through all of this here. And let's say that you design this and it looks great on desktop, but it looks horrible on mobile. What you could do is click on the section, go to advanced, and then you can hide this on mobile, okay? Or you could hide it on desktop and then just recreate one that looks great on mobile, okay? So those are really the quick tips on building a website. Now, once you get the style, this is the part that takes the longest, okay? Once you get the style how you want, then it's just a matter of duplicating the page, and then you already have all of your buttons created, the styles, you have your fonts and all of that, and of course you have your header and footer, and they're already in place, and it really speeds up the process, okay? And of course, check out the training that I have. You can register for free at bridgetbartlett.com, and then check out all of the website training and the complete series if you need more help. But this will definitely help you get started quickly so that you aren't spending years and years and thousands of dollars building websites. Or if you are an agency owner, you can create this church website and then use this template for many, many, many clients to come, okay? So thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Go make your vision a reality. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us for today's training. If you have any questions, you can join us for open office hours starting right now at bridgetbartlett.com. It's free and open to everyone.